it says about anagathabadha pratishedha vyakhyasyanamah yathovacha bhagavantanantarihi. Anagathabadha pratishedha is a preventive medicine. The translation, exact translation, is a preventive medicine. And Sushruta has described Ritucharya in the Sutrasthana, which is a part of the Swasthavatta, but the Anagathabadha pratishedha in the Chikitsasthana. In all other Samhitas like Vagbhata and Charaka, these are mentioned detailed in Sutrasthana. Reasons, of course, it's not an issue of discussion there, but we can't say like what could be the reason. Rationale of this cannot be predicted. Like anyway, that's one of the basic difference. Now the Swasthavatta, or that is Anagathabadha, starts with the activities which a person has to do to maintain the health and to many a times with an idea of treating certain of the diseases. Now among them, the first of the thing they start would be to start the day. You have to get up early, and that's Utthaya Satatam Swasthena Arogyam Vichata Dhimata Yadanustayam Tatsavam Sampravakshade. You have to get early, and then all that what is to be done in the daytime is mentioned. In Vagbhata, the same is described with more specificity, like Brahme Muhurte Uttishtet Swastho Rakshartam Avishaha. For the protection of the quality of life, you have to get up in Brahma Muhurta. Now, what is that Brahma Muhurta? Muhurta word is a specialty of Indian discipline. About maybe something like around 7,000 years back, in Yajnavalkya Smriti, which is, Shatavata Brahmana, in the Shatavata Brahmana, which is a commentary on the Yajurveda, the Muhurtas are described in detail. And then later on, of course, many of the other texts also have followed the same. But the boldest description of the Muhurta is in the context of the Shatavata Brahmana mentioned in the Yajurveda comment. And the whole day is divided into 30 segments. See, in the present day situation, we classify we assess the day in hours and 24 hours. Whereas in our ancestral system, Indian system, the day is assessed in a unit of 48 minutes. That's one Muhurta. And there are 30 Muhurtas as such. And these 30 Muhurtas also are named with different names which give some specific meaning. Now, recently some scholars around, they have come to a consensus like which is the exact time of these Muhurtas as such. Though that the exact time of the Muhurta corresponding to the current method of identification of the time is a bit of controversy, but this is general idea like related to the sunrise. The first Muhurta is Rudra Muhurta, that's after the sunrise, and then the 30 names are Rudra, Ahimitra Pitra, Vasu, Varaha, Vishwadevaha, Vithi, Satamukhi, Puruhuta, and of course Puruhuta, then Vrunda or Vahini. Vahini is then Naktanakara, and Varuna, Aryaman, Bhaga, Girisha, Ajapada, Ahirbuddhya, Pushya, Ashwini, Yama, Agni, Vidhatra, and Kanda, Aditi, Jivamrita or Vishnu, and Vyumadhyuti, Brahma Muhurta or Brahma Muhurta, and then Samudra Muhurta. These are the names of the Muhurtas mentioned in the Samhita, and the time of this is now presented as a consensus of many scholars recently, and this is the exact list of that time. And according to that consensus, Brahma Muhurta relates to a Muhurta just before, 2 Muhurtas before the on sunrise as such. Now, this is how it is interpreted now. Actually, there is a controversy like whether it's 3 Muhurtas or 2 Muhurtas before sunrise. Matter of controversy. Anyway, we will not go into that part. Now it's universally accepted that a Brahma Muhurta is the time duration, and if you consider the sunrise as at 6 o'clock something around, then the Muhurta comes to 4:24 to 5:12. This is the time. And Brahma Muhurta, the word Brahma has a different meaning. It also have a meaning of universe as well as Jnana, the knowledge. and it's very auspicious for study, japa or prayers. All that muhurta is a prayer, and the you our Ayurvedic text advise the person to be awake during this muhurta and start all the regular activities, particularly academic activities, activities related to the intellectual activities. It is the best time to start with the intellectual activities as per the Ayurvedic concepts. Of course, with the other muhurtas and their importance, we will not bother much about that. We will bother only about this issue. Now, coming to the current physiology part as such, there is something called circadian rhythm. The physical activities of the body would be varying according to the time duration. The impact of the sunlight and the daytime over the physiological activities are now identified, and lots of researches are going on this issue. And what, in summary, what is you see is in the daytime, the early morning 6 a.m. by the time the sunrise occurs, cortisol secretion begins. Till then, the level of cortisol secretion would be low, and it reaches a peak in the daytime, and then the changes which occur in the body state, insulin secretion starts, testosterone elevation starts or increases. Peak in alertness is by about 10 a.m. Alertness is about the physical activity, and then muscular, cardiovascular and skeletal muscle strength would be in the evening hours, and lipid levels would be increased. Night is the more melatonin secretion is the pineal gland secretion, which keeps the person asleep, and it's the deepest sleep. And by the morning, that time is where the peak lymphocyte levels reach to the peak, something related to the Brahma Muhurta, and this is related to the body defense mechanism. Now, as far as other hormonal secretions and physiological changes which occur, mainly the cortisol level will be the least during the early morning hours. That's the 4 o'clock, that Brahma Muhurta is the time where the cortisol level will be the least. And thyrotropion hormone would be somewhat at a higher level as such. And the growth hormone also be reaching the peak at that time, the early morning hours. Now, because of these types of the hormonal changes, the intellectual capacity, activity of the nerves would be more, and it's not that they are activity is more, but they are more capable of acting, taking the activity. All the enzymes of the nerves, which are necessary for the conduction of the impulses in the nervous system and endocrine system, there would be in the full-fledged situation in the early morning, and that's why it's considered that intellectual activity would be at the maximum at the early morning hours. And getting up at the early morning hours also has a benefit in terms of the other health aspects. Pineal gland is the one which is also called as the master clock of the body, which decides about the circadian rhythm, the sleep cycle and the awaken cycle. And pineal gland functions also would be at the peak at the early morning hours, and this helps in keeping the body in a relatively steady position and capable of receiving the intellectual capacity. So early morning hours, that 4 o'clock time, is the time specified for intellectual and academic activities. Physical activities may follow later on. You may have a better physical performance in the later period, but if you are interested in a academic performance, then that early morning hours has to be caught. So that's one of the important message which is now confirmed with all the physiological background. If you do not respect that circadian rhythm of the body, if you disrupt that, now it is known that it can result in many diseases. Every system could be involved, and proved with the definite evidences, the changes which can occur or the harms which can occur are listed, and I have just put the summary of that in a diagrammatic fashion, like from the different sources. If the sleep cycle is affected, the first other thing would be the sleep efficiency becomes reduced. You may not have the freshness of the sleep if you do not follow that sleep cycle pattern. The ideal sleep cycle pattern is you have to sleep at 9 p.m. and get up by around 4 a.m. Before 4 a.m. you should be awake and then the physical activity and intellectual activity would be perfectly normal. If this cycle is altered, the first of the thing which you would see that sleep efficiency, that freshness of the sleep would not be felt. Then gradually you will have hormonal secretion rhythm would be altered, which can result in lots of physiological changes in the body, and it can result in the particularly reproductive fitness. The capacity to reproduce would be reduced in terms of maybe the spermatogenesis, erectile capacity, and so on. All that total reproductive capacity would be reduced. In the pancreas, it tends to produce a insulin sensitivity and can be triggering diabetes. In the hippocampus area, again, there could be a degenerative changes induced neurogenesis could occur. In the cardiac, there will be a lot of changes in the heart, and it can be a cause for, or it can trigger hypertension, cardiomyopathy, etc. And it's also now known that it can be a cause for, or it can trigger the tumorigenesis, hormonal changes which can induce or trigger the tumor pathology. In the liver also, non-alcoholic fat, these are now known. Non-alcoholic fat changes in the liver are now known to relate to the abnormality or variation of the sleep cycle. Of course, in due course of time, and there are more researches on that, many more diseases can be linked to the sleep cycle abnormality. And hence, one of the most important secret of the healthy life is maintain a sleep cycle and get up at the Brahmi Muhurta. That's absolutely a perfect statement about the maintenance of the health from Ayurvedic point of view, and this needs to be highlighted. Then after you get up, the first thing which you have to do is cleaning of the tooth. To clean the tooth, the Ayurvedic method or our traditional Indian method is not to use the brush, but instead making use of a plant stem, tender stem, and clean the teeth as such. And that's called as Danta Pavana or Danta Dha. It's not simply Danta Dhavana, it's Danta Pavana. तत्र आदौ दन्तपवनं द्वादशाङ्गुलम् आयतं कनिष्ठिका कलिनाहं रुजु अग्रन्थितम् अव्रणम् अयुग्मग्रन्थि यच्चापि प्रत्यग्रं शस्त्रभूमिजम् अवेक्ष्य ऋतुं च दोषं च रसं वीर्यं च योजयेत् कषायं मधुरं तिक्तं कटुकं प्रातरुत्थितः निम्बश्च तिक्तके श्रेष्ठः कषाये खदिरस्तदा मधुको मधुरे श्रेष्ठः करञ्जः कटुके तथा. Now, the Danta Pavana, that of course there is no English terminology to that. Our representation of the toothbrush, it should be freshly collected from the plants, and the plant there should not be more than one nodes in that stem which you have taken in, and it should be grown in a proper place as such. And you have to assess the season and the taste of that, the rasa of that also would be according to the prakriti. So kashaya, madhura, tikta, katuka, these are the options. Among the tikta rasa, nimba is shrestha. Like those who have a kapha prakriti, then nimba is preferred, and tikta rasa nimba has to be used. Kashaya khadira, pitta prakriti people, they may prefer khadira as such, and vasa prakriti people may use madhuka. So, or karanja kataka, if there is a severe kapha prakriti or heavy kapha prakriti and katurasa is preferred, karanja is preferred. These are the better choices of the plants which can be used for the using of the Dantapavana. Then Samudra Vyosha Trivargaktam Satailam Saindhavenacha Churnena Tejovatyashta Dandan Nityam Shodhet. If you cannot collect that plant every day, fresh plant cannot be collected, stem cannot be collected. In that condition, you may use the powders of Tejovati plant with the Taila, Saindhavalavana, Shaudra and Tikatu. These could be added. And this powder could be used for cleaning the tooth. So, tooth powder which is suggested in Ayurvedic text. Ekekam bharshet dantam mridana kurchakenam cha danta shodhana churnena dantam amthanya bhadena. Individually, every tooth has to be cleaned with that kurchaka or brush-like structure prepared out of these plant, and you have to ensure that the gums are not injured. And the benefit are taddaugande upadeho tu shleshmanam japakarshadi vaishadyam annabhiruchim somanasyam karoti ja nakhade. Now the advantages of cleaning tooth regularly would be it will avoid that foul smell in the mouth, or even it helps in the building up of the body or nourishment of the body, and kapha dosha can be reduced. It keeps the mouth clean and enhances the taste of the food, and it gives a pleasant feeling. The Danta Pavana is to be avoided in Nakhadet, Gala Tal, Vosta Jifwa Roga Samudhave, Ata Asipake Shwase, Kasa Hipka, Omisha, Durbala, Adirna Bhaktasta, Murcharto, Madagitaha, Shiro Rujartaha, Trishitaha, Shrantaha, Panaklaman Vidaha, Ardiki Karnashuli, Dandaruge, Jamanaha. In the persons who have already have a disease of the teeth, or the Asyapaka or Galatalu Ostajifaroga, oral cavity disorders, and who have breathlessness, cough, etc., or who are very weak, or who have consumed before the previous food is digested, those who have history of unconsciousness or episodes of unconsciousness, or who are unconscious, or who are inebriated, those who have headache, extreme tired, and those who have consumed a lot of alcohol, who have pain in the ears or maybe ardita, that facial palsy. In these conditions, the Danta Pavana is to be avoided. Either they cannot do it or they may harm it. Now, in the present day situation, this kind of a culture doesn't exist, and we are accustomed to the toothbrush now. And the toothbrush, which is considered to be the panacea now, very interestingly, it's a source for many diseases. Lots of research articles are presented there, and I'm not going into that much more detail, just highlight the issue. In 2012, there was a publication about a review of literature about toothbrush contamination, the diseases which could be induced by toothbrush. I will not go into the textual detail, but interesting is in 2012 they have database. In the review article, database used was from the articles from different databases, PubMed and Google Scholar and Web of Science. These are the databases which that particular article reference I have given. And the total number of publications at that time in Google Scholar was 376, and the others numbers were lesser. From 2012 onwards, if you search Google Scholar today with the toothbrush induced diseases search name, the total count of these hits you get is 21,500 results in 0.08 seconds. Now, this is a screenshot of the Google Scholar search which I made just today in the morning. And of course, that's the situation. And it's not about the general articles, it's about the Google Scholar search, peer-reviewed journals and standard articles. Number of research articles on the complications and the diseases which can be produced or which can be aggravated is well studied. Lots of research articles are coming up, but still the culture of toothbrush is has become established, and that's considered as standard. And if at all anybody thinks of other techniques like toothpaste, tooth powder, or maybe that classical plant, is considered as a uncultured behavior. Anyway, that's the one thing. Then Jihva Nirlekhanam Raupyam Savarnam Bhakshameva Tan Malapaharam Shastram Mrudu Shlakshanam Dashangalam Mukha Vairasya Daurugandya Shopa Jadyaharam Sukham Dantadardekaram Ruchyam Sneha Gandoshadharanam. The next is Jihva Nirlekhan, cleaning of the tooth, cleaning of the tongue cleaners. Tongue cleaners could be of either silver or gold or maybe plant origin, and that's it reduces all that debris which is present over the tongue, and it can reduce the mukhavirus smell in the mouth, and taste appreciation can be better, and it gives helps in the ruchi acid. Then Sneha Gandush Dharanam. The next is Sneha Gandush Dharana, where the oil is kept in the mouth. It's not oil pulling, but gargling with the oil, and this helps in the enhancement of the strength of the teeth, and it enhances the taste perception. Kshiravraksha Kashayeva Kshirena Cha Vimshrihi Birlotaka Kashayena Tathaiva Amalakasya Cha Prakshalayet Mukham Netre Swastaha Shitodakena Cha Nilika Mukashosum Cha Pidakam Vyangameva Cha Raktapitakratan Lodana Satya Vinashayet. Then Mukhamarjana or washing of the mouth with the Kshiravsha Kashaya, with the Kshira or Bilota Kashaya or Amalaka Kashaya. These could be used for cleaning the mouth and face, including the eyes. They have to be cleaned with the cold water and the Kashaya of these substances. And it can help in avoiding the pigmentary disorders, dryness of the mouth, or eruptions over the mouth, or even neurological deviations of the mouth can be avoided by cleaning the oral cavity regularly with those kashayas. Then Sukham Lagu Nirikshetra Dradam Pashyati Chakshusham Madam Srotonjanam Sreshtam Vishuddham Sindhu Sambhuvam Daha Kandu Malagnante Drishti Kledarujapaham Tejo Rupavaham Chaiba Sahate Maruta Tapo Nanetroga Jayante Tasma Danjanam Achareta Bhuktavan Shirasa Snataha Shantaha Chardana Vahanihi Ratro Jagadashchapi Na Anja Jvarita Evacha. Then Anjana, that's applying the medicine into the eye to facilitate the conjunctival health asset. Better is Srotanjana is considered, and Srotanjana, which is a mineral extracted from the Sindhu Desha. It can help in keeping the eyes clean, reduces the diseases or pain in the eyes, helps in better perception, visual perception. Kapha and the possible the injury or irritation of the conjunctiva due to the wind and sunlight can be reduced, prevents the netrogas or the eye diseases, and it should not be used after food or immediately after the bath or extremely tired condition, those who have vomiting or those who are traveling on vehicles or those who have not slept at the night, who have kept awake during the night, they should not use the Anjana or even after Jara, during the Jara. Then Karpura Jati Kankola, Lavanga Katuka Fehi, Sachurna Puge Saitam, Patram Tambulajam Shubham, Mukha Vaishadya Saugandya Kanti Sausavakaragam, Hanudanta Swaramala Jihva Indriya Vishodaram, Praseka Shamanam, Hridyam, Galamaya Vinashanam, Tatyam, Suttotite, Bhukte, Snate, Vanteja Manave. Rattapitta Kshatakshina Drashna Murcha Paritinam Ruksha Durbala Matyanam Nahitam Cha Asya Shoshinam. Then is the Tambula Bhakshana, that's the bitter leaf can be taken with the Pugachurna, that Kramuka seeds also would be used with the pleasant smelling substances like Karpura Janti, etc. And it helps in keeping the mouth clean, gives a pleasant smell, and gives a good appearance, physical appearance, improves the functions of the teeth as well as the mastication capacity would be. Hanudanta is the mastication functions could be better, and Jihva Indriya Vishodaram and Praseka Shamanam, that salivation can be controlled, and Hridyam, it gives a pleasant feeling and reduces the possibility of diseases of the throat. And it should be consumed frequently, like Suttotite, immediately after awakening from the sleep, or Bhukte after the food, Snate after bath, Vante after vomiting or emesis. Tambula Bhakshana is indicated, and it also is contraindicated in patients with Raktapitta, Kshatakshina, Trishna, Murcha, etc., and those who are very weak. Then Shiropatam Satarogan Shirobhango Apakarshati. केशानां मार्दवं दैर्घ्यं बहुत्वं स्निग्धतस्तदा करोति शिरसस्तृप्तिं सुत्वक्कमपि चाननं सन्तर्पणं चेन्द्रियां शिरसप्रतिपूर्णं. Shirobhyanga is application of oil over the scalp to facilitate the softness of the hair, and it also helps in lengthening of the hairs, and it keeps them smooth and soft as such, and gives a satisfactory feeling of coolness over the head, and the face also becomes pleasant. The skin of the face becomes pleasant, and it helps in keeping the sensory organs in a better level as such. Madhukam Kshirashuklam cha Saralam Devadaruja Kshudrukam Panchanamanam Sambhagani Samharet Vesham Kalkakashayabhyam Chakrata Ilam Vipajet Sadaiva Shitaram Jantoham Murtita Ilam Tadapet. The best option of the Taila is the same Madhuka Kshirashukla etc. with the Chakrataila prepared with these drugs, and Chakrataila has been added. Kesha Prasadani Keshya Rajo Jantumalapaha. This taila can help in making the hairs better look, giving a better look, and reduces all the possibility of the insects grown in the hairs. Hanumanya Shirak Karna Shulagnam Karnapurnam. Then the Karnapurana, a drop of oil has to be kept in, put into the ears, and which can help in preventing the ear pain or the diseases of the Hanumanya, etc., that neck and the jaws. Then comes the Abhyanga. Abhyango Mardavakaraha Kapavata Nirodhanaha Dhatunam Pustijalanam Dujavarna Balapradaha. The Abhyanga is application of the oil to the whole body, and it keeps the body smooth, soft, and reduces the possibility of kapha and vata, and it enhances the capacity of the tissues, color of the body, or appearance of the body also will be improved. Then the seka, warmth, fermentation over the body after the taila is applied. Sekaha shramagnaha anila bhagna sandhiktasadakaha shata agnidagda abhihata vigristanam dujapaha जलसिक्तस्य वर्धन्ते यथा मूले अंकुरास्तरोः तथा धातु विवृद्धिः स्नेहसिक्तस्य जायते. After application of the taila over the body, if you cook the warmth over there, it enhances the capacity of the tissues to regenerate, like a tree which is nourished by putting the water at the root, and this helps in better the evolution of the tender leaves as such. So that kind of a simile is given to the benefits of the seka and abhyanga, and it also reduces the tiredness, it reduces the chances of vatavyadhis, and helps in promotion of healing of the fractures and the wound healings also, which could be due to the injury or burn injuries, can also be benefited by the sneha and seka. Siramukhe Romakupe Dhamani Vishchatarpen Sharira Valamata Yukta Sneho Avagahane. The sneha applied, the oil applied over the body before the bath will help in cleaning the siramukha, that openings of the skin, and it helps in the circulation of the blood in the subcutaneous area. Tatra Prakriti Satmya Rutu Desha Dosha Vikaravita Tailam Grisam Va Matiman Ijal Abhyanga Sekayoham. You may select any of the Taila or Grita, depending upon the Prakriti Satmya Rutu Desha, etc., variables. You may select any of the Taila or Grita for the Abhyanga. Kevalam Samadosheshu na Kasanjana Yojeta, Tarunajuri, Ajirni, na Abhyaktavyo Katanjana, Tata Virikto Vandasta Nirudo Yestamanavaha, Purvayo Kuchata Vyadeha, Sakyatum Atha Apiva, Sheshanam Tadha Prokta, Agdimandya Yogadaha, Sandarpana Samuthanam Rogaram Naiva Kareta. Now, Abhyanga and Seka are mentioned for the healthy persons to promote the healing, not the other way, like it can be used in every disease. These days, that spa culture has equated the Abhyanga into that massage done, and that's not really the Abhyanga. And that's done now without considering any of the other factors. But according to Ayurveda, it should not be given in the person, in a patient with the person with Amadosha and Tarunajvari, Ajirni. This Abhyanga is contraindicated. So when you do that Abhyanga, healthy protocols have to be followed, and it is done before you consume the food in the early morning. That's the right time for the Abhyanga. It's not that you do the Abhyanga any time and immediately after food or so on. Tatha Virikto Vantascha Niruha Yestamanavaha. After the Vilechana, after the Vamana, or after the Niruha, Abhyanga should not be done, but they can be done prior to that. Then Purvayo Krichata Vyadhe Asarjatvam Athapiva. It can result in making the diseases incurable as such. And in the patients who have Agnimandya, Santarpana Samuthanam Rogaram Naimakarayate. Those who have a disease produced due to excessive consumption of food, like something like the obesity. Now, that's a very interesting issue. These days, massage is considered as one of the options to manage the obesity, and people prefer this as an alternative choice. But according to Ayurvedic concept, that Abhyanga and Seka are contraindicated in a Santarpana Samutha Vyadhi, something like the obesity. Anyway, that's about one. The next part is about the Vyayama, exercise. Sharira Ayasa Jananam Karma Vyayama Samjitam. Now, the definition of Vyayama is which produces a exertion of the body, which make the body exerted, is a vyayama. Exercise has to be done. Tat कृत्वा tu sukham deham vimrutyam samantratah sharira upajaya kantihi gatranam suvivaktata दीप्ताग्नित्वम् अनालस्यं स्थिरत्वं लाघवं प्रजा श्रम क्लम पिपासा उष्ण शीतादीनां सहिष्णुता आरोग्यं चान्तरमं व्यायामादुपजायते. The vyayama would be helping in building up the nourishment of the body. It helps in the look of the body, and that the muscles and the body will be very proportionate and could be seen prominent. It enhances the digestive capacity. It makes you more alert, gives a stability as well as lightness of the body, and a better tolerance to all the physical stresses, and health would be better. न चास्ति सदृशं तेन किञ्चित् स्थौल्यापकर्षणं न च व्यायामिनं मर्त्यम् अर्दयन्ति अरयो बलात् न चैनं सहसा आक्रम्य जरा समधिरोहति स्थिरीभवति मांसं च व्यायामाभिरतस्य च. Now there is no better choice to reduce the sthaulya, obesity, than the vyayama. So vyayama is considered as the most effective measure of treating or handling the obesity. And a person who has the habit of doing regular exercise would be very strong, and hence his enemies would not be able to win over him. And even the old age changes, degenerative changes would not occur in that person, and his muscles will be strong, and hence he will be physically strong as such. Vyayama sinnagatrasya padbhyam mudvatisya vyathiyo nupasarpanti simham shutramrutaiva. After vyayama, if padaghata is done, padabhyanga is done, then on udvartana, the application of ruksha churna over the body is done, that person would be very healthy and no disease can reach, disease can occur in him, or disease will run away from him, like the animals run away from the lion as such. Of course, that is a simile given. वयो रूप गुणहीनम अपि कुर्यात् सुदर्शनम व्यायामं कुरुतो नित्यं विरुद्धमपि भोजनं विदग्धम अविदग्धम वा निर्दोषं परिपच्यते व्यायामो हि सदा पथ्यः परिणाम स्निग्ध भोजनम. Those who do the vyayama regularly, even they can tolerate the viruddhahara better, and you need not bother about the time and the digestion of the food. It can be digested easily. And even those who do not have a physical appearance which is attractive, if you do the vyayama regularly, the appearance becomes attractive. And it should be, vyayama exercise should always follow a snigdha bhojana, the right food which is nourishing, and those who are otherwise physically strong. Then such a shite vasante च तेषां प्रत्यसमस्मृतः सर्वेषु ऋतुषु आहारः पुंभिः आत्महितैः शिभिः बलस्य अर्थेन कर्तव्य व्यायामो हन्ये अतो अन्यथा हृदि स्थानस्थितो वायुः यदा उक्तं प्रपद्यते व्यायामं कुरुतो जन्तुः तद्बलार्थस्य लक्षणम्. Now exercise, how much it has to be done? The limit of the exercise is balardha, the half of the physical capacity. And that how to decide about the physical capacity? Very scientific method. When a person does the exercise, if you feel that you have to take the breath from the mouth, the nasal breathing would not be enough. That's a mild dyspnea or a mild air hunger is felt. That is the limit of the vyayama. You are not supposed to go beyond that. If you cannot, the respiratory rate increases, and you need to make use of the mouth. The accessory inspiratory muscles have to be used. Then there is a limit of the vyayama, and this can be decided for individual person. And this definition of Ayurveda about the exercise is the most scientific and maybe the best possible, where there is no scope for correction. So depending upon the physical condition of a patient, the extent of the exercise can be prescribed safely and very effectively. Whereas in the present day situation, the exercise limits are calculated in terms of the calorie output and calorie utilization, which is not really suitable for every person as such. And it's always better to have the exercise more in Shitakala, Vasantakala, that cold seasons, the exercise has to be more. Then vayobala sharirani deshakala ashanani cha samiksha kuryat vyayamam अन्यथा रोगमाप्नुयात्. You have to consider the physical strength of the body, the time and the other nourishment of the person has to be considered before you advise the limit of the exercise. Otherwise, it can be harmful. Kshaya, Trishna, Aruti, Chardi, Raktapitta, Brahmaklamaha, Kasa, Shosha, Jwara, Shwasaha, Ati Vyayama Sambhavaha. Exercise beyond the physical limit, if you do that, it can result in diseases like the Kshaya, Trishna, Aruti, etc. and Kasa, Shwasa, etc. can be produced. Raktavitti, Krushaha, Shoshi, Shwasakasha, Kshadaturah, Bhuktavan, Strishu Chakshiraha, Trid Brahmartashta Varteta. Those who have Raktapitta Vyadi, who are emaciated, and those who have breathlessness, acid disease, respiratory diseases, and immediately after food are those who have sexual activity, very sexually very active and hyperactive, sexually hyperactive, and those who have excess of thirst or giddiness, they have to avoid the vyayama. Then udvartanam vataharam kapamedo vilapanam sthitikaranam anganam tvak prasadakaram param. Udvartana, application of a churnam over the body, dry powder over the body, and massage there. This is a real massage, and it can result in kapameda vilopanam, reduction of the kapha smelas and vatahara, and it helps in strengthening of the body and helps in the appearance of the skin. शिरामुख विविक्तत्वं तत्सस्य अग्नेष्टतेजनम् उद्घर्षण उत्सादनाभ्यां ध्यायेताम् असंशयम् उत्सादनात् भवेत् स्त्रीणां विशेषात् कान्तिमद्वपुः प्रहर्ष सौभाग्यं मृजा लाघवादिगुणान्वितम् उद्घर्षणं तु विज्ञेयं कण्डूकोठ अनिलापहम् पूर्वोः सञ्जनयत्याशु फेनकस्थैर्यलाघवे कण्डूकोठ अनिलस्तम्भमलरोगाभश्च सह तेजनं त्वग्गतस्य अग्नेः शिरामुखविवेचनम् Udgarshanam, Vishtikaya, Kandu Kotha Vinashanam. For the Udgarshana, that's a massage with a dry powder. It can be different options, and that by doing that, the physical condition of the patient would be improved, and the vascularity of the skin will improve. Siramukha Viviktam, that's the vascularity will improve. Capacity of the skin to absorb the medicines applied over the body also will be increased. And particularly in females, it can make the body more attractive, and all the ideal property of the feminine characters would be enhanced, and it will avoid the possibility of itching and eruptions over the skin, and it with the Phenaka. Phenaka is this foaming powder, that's Sigekai. If you do the Udgarshana with that Sigekai, it can help in enhancing the strength of the body as well as avoids all itching and other skin diseases. Udgarshana with the soil, Vishtika is the powdered bricks or the specific soil. Now, of course, we will have Multani Mitti and so on, that soil would also help in reducing the Kandu Kotha, etc. Now, the next is Snana, Bathi. निद्रादाह श्रमहरं स्वेदकण्डूतुषापहं हृद्यं मलहरं श्रेष्ठं सर्वेन्द्रिय विबोधनं तन्द्रा पात्मा उपशमनं दुष्टिदं पुंस्तवर्धनं रक्तप्रसादनं चापि स्नानम् अग्नेष्टदीपनम् उष्णेन शिरसः स्नानम् अहितं चक्षुषस्तदा शीतेन शिरसः स्नानं चक्षुष्यम् इति निर्दिशेत्. Now snana, the taking of the bath, it helps in avoiding the strain, nidra, daha, shrama, that impact of the sleep would be reduces the possibility of excess of sweating and itching or so on, and it gives you a pleasant feeling, and sarvendriya bodhan makes all your sensory organs awaken, and it helps in enhancing your physical activity. Rakta prasadam improves the rakta quality, and agnidipana. And you have to avoid warm water over the head, whereas cold water over the head would be better for the health of the eyes. श्लेष्ममार्थकोपे तो ज्ञात्वा व्याधिबलाबलं कामं उष्णं शिरस्नानं वैषज्यार्थं समापयेत्. But those who have kapha-vataja vyadhi, depending upon the status of the disease, occasionally, as a treatment, a ushna shirasnana, that's warm water over the scalp, also may be administered. Ati shitambu shiteja shleshma marthakopanam, atyushnam ushna kaleja pita shunathakopanam. If you take very cold water in the cold season, it enhances or worsens the conditions of kapha and vata. If it is a ushna, warm water taken in warm season, it can enhance or vitiate the pitta and rakta. तच्च अतिसार ज्वलित कर्णशूल अनिलार्तिषु आत्मान अरोचक अजीर्ण भुक्तवत्सु च गर्हितं सौभाग्यदं वर्णकरं प्रीति ओजो बलवर्धनं श्वेत दौर्गन्ध्य वैवर्ण्य समग्नम् अनुलेपनं स्नानं येषां निषिद्धं तेषामपि अनुलेपनं. The conditions like Atisara, Jwara, Karnashula, etc. and Atmana, Arochaka, these are the diseases where the snana is contraindicated, should not be given. Now, from the Indian literature point of view, the snana or bath is of 7 types, and that's Kaika snana is exactly what's mentioned here, where you dip the body with water and clean thoroughly with the other protocols. Then the other options of the snana, if you do not have the facility, you have the other options, very interesting issue, and it could be Yogika snana or Atmatirtha snana. By Dhyana only you can have the snana, or it's also called as Manas snana. And then Brahma snana, where you feel that you have taken the snana. Vayaviya snana, exposing to the air. Then Agneya snana is applying the ash over the body. Divya snana, that's from the Divya waters, the heavenly, that rain, exposure to rain. Varuna snana is again specified with water. These are the different types of the snana mentioned in Yajnavalkya Smriti. Very interesting, of course. I will not go much into the detail of that. But these are considered as effective as the definite they were taking bath. Then Drakshognam Athacha Aujasyam Saubhagyakaram Tamam Sumana Ambara Ratnanam Dharanam Pritivardhanam, having the decorations or dress over the body would help in preventing the infection. Drakshognam it helps in prevention of the infection, and Aujasyam it improves your vitality. And it's Saubhagyakaram, it gives a better this world as such, and these are for Ambara Ratnanam, having dress, different types of the dress. Then Mukhalepa, cosmetics over the face. Mukhalepa Dridham Chakshu Pina Gandam Tadananam Abhyanga Pedakam Kantam Bhavati Ambujasannibham. The application of the cosmetics over the face, it could be snow, powder, etc., which gives a better look, and the possibility of pedaka eruptions over the face can be reduced. But the present cosmetics, they do the other way. Okay, fine, that's it. Pakshmalam Vishadam Kantam Amala Ujjalamandalam Netram Anjana Sanyoga Bhavekta Amaltarakam Yashasyam Sargamayusham Dhana Dhanya Vivardhanam Devata Titi Vipranam Pujanam Gotravardhanam. Now there is another sort of Anjana. The Anjana which has to be done immediately after getting up from the bed is the Rasanjana, which helps in cleaning the eyes. Then the other Anjana, which gives that color, that black this eyeliner, is for the decoration of the body, and this is done after the bath. Now that's a very interesting issue. When the Anjana, Rasanjana is mentioned in the earlier slokas, after the snana it's contraindicated, whereas this Anjana has to be applied after the snana, and this is the Ujjvala Anjana, the Anjana which is to make your body look better, a cosmetic which is used, eyeliner which is the currently used eyeliner, and this helps in making Dhanadhanyam Vardhanam, Vashasyam, these are so all considered as there would be a better health and better health here as well as in the next birth. Ahara Prilana Sadhya Balaka Dehadaraka Ayus Teja Samutsaha Smriti Ojo Agni Vivardhana. Then after all these protocols you have to take the food, and the food should be pleasant, and it will be enhancing the body, and it also enhances the tejas and the utsaha, smriti, etc. That's about the food. Now details about the food are mentioned in the sutras earlier, like what sort of the food and so on. So that's what we have discussed already. Then the other activities, once you go out, the other activities which have to be done are pada prakshalanam, the cleaning of the food. Cleaning of the food, washing the food would be pada malaroga samapaham. Whenever you go out and come in, the food has to be clean. Hygiene has to be maintained. And chaksham prasadanam vriksham rashognam prijibardhanam. Cleaning the food also improves the health of the eyes and reduces the possibility of infection. And prijivardhanam, it gives a feeling, comfortable feeling. निद्राकरो देहसुखः चक्षुष्यः श्रमस्तुत्यनुत पादत्वं मृदुकारी पादाभ्यङ्गः सदाहितः. Padabhyanga is application of oil over the foot and massaging that. It helps in improving the sleep and reduces the tiredness and keeps the skin smooth and soft. Padarodaharam rushyam dhakshodam pritivardanam sukhapracharam mojasyam sada padatradaharanam. Footwear used when you go out, the footwear used would be helping in avoiding the contamination, and it also enhances your sexual vigor. Pritivardhanam, the psychological feeling would be better. It helps in easy movement. Hence padatrana, that the footwear has to use regularly. Anarogyam anayushyam chakshusho upaghatakatat padabhyam anupanadbhyam sada chankramanam dranam. If you walk without a footwear, it can be cause for the many illnesses, and it also can help damage the eyes. It can harm the eyes, and hence you are not supposed to walk without the footwear. Papma upashamanam kesha nakharoma apamarjanam हर्षलाघव सौभाग्यकरम उत्साहवर्धनम बाणवारम भुजावर्ण तेजो बल विवर्धनम. The hair cutting or pruning of the hairs is apamarjana is a pruning, banavara is a cutting of the hairs. Depending upon the situation, it can reduce the sin of the body. You can make it very comfortable, and it helps in having a better look as it. Pavitram keshyam ushnisham vatada parajopaham. Covering this hairs with a cloth, usnisha, mundas or cap. It is a pavitra and vatada parajopaham. It reduces the possibility of harm due to the sunlight. Varshanila rajogna mahimadinam nivaranam varnyam chakshushyam mojasyam shankaram chatradharanam. Chatra, that umbrella. When you go out, you have to have an umbrella, both in rainy season as well as hot season, to avoid the harm due to the sunlight or the dust or the water, rain water. And it helps in improving the eyes, the functions of the eyes, and it is a pleasant thing. It gives you a well-like. Shuna sarisrupa vyala vishanibhyo bayapaham shrama skhalana doshagram sthavireja prashaside sattvotsah balasthirya dheirya virya vivardhanam avastambagaram chapi bhayakram dandadharanam. Walking stick to be used, mainly particularly sthavire. In the old persons it's better. Even otherwise it can help in avoiding the harm by wild animals. Now these days when the wild animals are not there, it's not important, but your physical protection. Now these days it's a helmet than the stick, which is more protective. Anyway, it reduces the possibility of fall and injury, gives strength to the body. Asya varna kapasthaule saukamare kari sukha. Then adva varna kapasthaule saukamarya bidhachanaha atyadva viparito asmat jara durbalyakrtya saha yat chankramanam nati deha pidakaram bhaveda tada ayuhu bala medha agni pradam indriya bodhanam. When you sit comfortably, it gives you the strength to the body. It enhances the kapha and sthaula, etc. You sit comfortably for a long duration. Walking with moderate walking can help in improving the kapha functions of kapha sthaula. The obesity can reduce, and it can help in maintaining a better physique. But atyadva, if it is consumed in, or if you walk more than what is needed, excess there, can produce jara daurbalya krityasaha. It can make you feel weaker as such. And hence the walking or movement of the body should be moderate, which should not harm the body. Then it can be helping in ayu bala medha agni pradam. So that it's in addition to the physical exercise done earlier, your physical activity throughout the day, walking is the chankramana there. Then shamanilaharam drishyam pusti nidra dhriti pradam sukham shayasanam dukkham viparita gunam madam. Sleep at the end of the day, when you sleep, the sleep would be producing a comfort to the body, and drishyam, it also enhances sexual capacity. And the bed should be comfortable, and if the bed is not comfortable, it can harm you. And during the sleep, to avoid the possible exposure to the insects, you may use a fan. And even Sushruta's period, there was a fan, the fan, but not electrical fan, it was handled with the hand. As such, Bala Vyajana Aujasyam, that Bala Vyajana is a fan which is handled by persons. Then Makshikadinam Apohati, Shoshadaha Shamaswera Murchagnaha, Vyajanilaha. Priti Nitrakaram Brusham Kapa, Atashamapam, Sambahanam, Mamsa Raktat Prasadakaram Sukam. A delicate massage during the sleep or before you go for the sleep when you lie down, that's the Samvahana, can help in reducing the possibility of involvement of kapha vata and excess of exercise, and it helps in improving the circulation of the body. Prabhatam Rauksha Vaivarnya Stambakrit Lahapaktinuto Sweda Murcha Pipasagnam Apravatam Ato Anyata Sukham Vatam Taseveta Grishme Sharadi Manavaha Nivatam Hi Aishe Sevyam Arogyaya Cha Sarvada. This Prabhata is exposure to the natural wind. It should be done according to the season. In the Grishma and Sharad Rutu, the natural wind is better. In other cold seasons, it should not be. No, you are not supposed to expose to the natural wind too much, because it can produce dryness, discoloration of the body, and spasm of the body, and even excess of sweating, murcha, unconsciousness also can be produced that due to the exposure to the dry or wind as a direct wind. Nivatam hi Aishe Sevam Arogyaya Cha Sarvada. It is better to have a controlled ventilation during sleep in the house. There should be controlled ventilation. Direct exposure to the wind has to be avoided. Then similarly, sunlight, Atapaha, Pitta Trishna, Agnisweda Murcha Brahma Asvakrata, Daha Vaivarnyakari Cha Chaya Cha Yetana Pohati. Exposure to the sunlight, bright sunlight, can enhance the Pitta Trishna, Agni, etc. Whereas a shade will help in this resolution of those issues. Agni, Vata Kapha Stamba Shita Vepatunashanaha, Ama Abhishanda Jaranaha, Rakta Pitta Pradushanaha. Pushti Varna Balotsaham Agni Tiktam Atandritam Karoti Bhaksamim Tenitra Kaleni Shevita. Agni, that's exposure to the fire. Of course, this is relevant in the cold environments where they use that fire for keeping the room warm. In Udupi or in such warm areas, this is out of context. But when you use that room warmer with the fire, a culture which is seen in the cold areas, it can reduce the possibility of kapha and shita vepatu, etc. And it helps in avoiding improving the digestion also. But if it is enhanced, then it can produce harm to the body by vitiating rakta and pitta and so on. Then tatra aditeva nija nakhromna shujina shuklavasusa laghu ushnisha chatrapanapkena chatra upanapkena dandapanina kale hitamita madhura purvabhibhashana bandhubhutena bhutana guru vruddha anumatena susahayena ananya manasa khalu upacharitavyam tadapi naratru nakesha asthi kantaka ashma tusha bhasmodaka bhasma utkara kapala angara medhya snana badibhumishu na vishama indra kila chatushpatha shobhranam uparistata. Now during the whole day you have to keep a physical hygiene by pruning your nails, hairs, etc. Be clean physically, and the clothes also have to be clean, and you have to have a covering of the hair and this umbrella and footwear. All these have to be kept ready, and throughout your activity it should be friendly to the society, and whatever the step you take, it should be respected by, or it should be a pathway which is respected by the society. Guru Vruddha Anumatena, seniors would be considering that as suitable, and should have the helpers wherever it's needed, and most of the activities should be done in the day, not in the night time. And whenever you move, you have to look at the condition of the earth there, or the road there should be a proper healthy road. Those pathway which are lots of contaminants are there, they should be avoided. Then na rajadvishta purusha paishunya antatani vadeta na deva brahmana pitra parivadanscha na narendra vishta unmatta patita kshudra nijan upasita. You shall should not speak against the administration. You should not speak in a lie, should not lie to the others. And hard speech also has to be avoided. And anything which is not respected by the seniors or the class society, upper class society, should be avoided, and should not mix with the people who are criminals, those who are not having a proper control on them, or those who are of these unacceptable characters. They should be avoided. Then vriksha parvata prapata vishama valmika dushta baji kunjaradi adhirohanarani parihareta. Should not travel unnecessarily, should not climb unnecessarily to the heights of plants or trees, or maybe the other way. Those which we call as trekking now. Trekking has become a culture now. Trekking is unnecessarily moving in the wildness. If there is a need, okay, that's fine, but this has become fashionable now, and Sushruta says it should not be. Then Purnadi Samudra Avidita Pallava Shabdakupa Avataranadi, should not go into the water sources unnecessarily, where the real depth and the real control is not known. Bhinna Shunya Agara Smashana Vijana Aranya Vasa Agni Sambrama Vyala Bhujanga Kita Sevascha. The areas where you go should be having a better healthy situation, and the house which is not stable, and those smashanas, graveyards, these are the places which you are not supposed to visit. Gramaghata Kalaha Shastra Sanipada Vyala Sarisrupa Shingasanikashamsha. Wherever there is a fight or where there is a wild animals, you are not supposed to go there. Na Agni Go Guru Brahmana Prenkhadim Atyantarena Yayata, Na Shavam Manu Yayata. Whenever there is a dead body being carried out, you are not supposed to cross that. Then Deva Go Brahmana Chaitya Dhvaja Rogi Patita Papakayanam Shayam Akrameta. Should not mix with the people who are sinners and who are diseased, like Nastram Gachantam Udyantam Adityama Viksheta. Don't directly see the sunlight in the day, in the early morning or in the late in the night. Gam Dhapayantim Dhayantim Parashasyam Charantim Kasme Achakshita. Nacha Ulka Pada Utpada Indradhanumchi. Cows have to be respected and should not get exposed to the natural calamities like Ulka Pada, etc. Nagni Mukhen Upadameta. Don't blow the fire with the mouth. Na Apo Bhumim Panipadena Abhyanyata. Don't curate the, or maybe grab the earth with your nails. Na Vegan Thare, the Vegadharana should be avoided. And Bahir Vegan Rama Nagara Deva Ayatana Smashana Chatushpada Salila Ashaya Pathi Sanikristan Utsudyeta Na Prakasham Nacha Vaivagni Salila Somarka Go Guru Pratimukham. The urination and defecation, Bahir Vegas, should not be done in auspicious places or the condition like roads, etc., or should not be exposed to the others, like it should be done in privacy. Na bhumi milikheta, na sa amrutam khassadasi jamba udgara kasa shwasa shodhun utsriyata, na paryankika avastamba pada prasaranani guru sannidhau kuryata. You are not supposed to scratch on the earth, and should have a mask when you are in a sabha or when you are in a meeting, like, and should not yawn or cough without covering the mouth, and should not stretch your legs in front of your gurus. Na balakarna nasa sroto darshana akshi vivaranani abhikushniyat na bijayet keshamukham nakha vastra gatrani na gatra nakha vatra varitram kuryat na kashta losta kridavina abhyanyat chindyat bindyat. Etiquettes of the life. You are not supposed to have these jerk your hairs, like, so that there could be a contamination ever, and should not comb in front of others, like, and should not unnecessarily make sounds with the different instruments as such. Then Prativatathupam Tribeta, na Bhukta Matro Agnim Pasita, na Udkataka Alpa Kashtasanam Adhyasita, na Griva Vishamam Dhareta, na Vishamakaya Kriyam Bhajeta, Bunjitava, na Pratadam Viksheta, Visheshata Jyotihi Bhaskara Sukshma Chalabdhantani, na Bharam Shirsa Vayeta, na Swapna Jagarana Shayana Asana Sthana Sankarmana Yana Vahana Pradhavana Langana Plavana Pratvarana Astya Vyayamadin Uchitanapi Atiseveta. Should not go in excess and should be moderate in all activities and take care of your body. Uchitadapi ahitat kramasho viramet. If at all you have made a habit of these abnormal habits, they should be gradually withdrawn and should develop a healthy habit. Hitam anuchitmapi aseveta kramashah nachaketa patahinaat. न अवाक्षिरशयीत न भिन्नपात्रे भुञ्जीत न विना पात्रेण न अञ्जलिपुटेन आपपिबेत काले हितमितस्निग्धमधुरप्रायम् आहारं वैद्यप्रत्यवेक्षितम् अश्नीयात् ग्रामगणगणिकापणिकशत्रुसत्रशठपतितभोजनानि परिहरेत् शेषाणि च अनिष्टरूपरसगन्धस्पर्शशब्दमानसानि अन्यानि गुणान्यपि सम्भ्रमदत्तानि मक्षिका बालोपहितानि न अप्राक्षालितपदः भुञ्जित न मूत्रोच्चारपीडितः न सन्ध्योः अनुपाशितो नातीतकालं हीन अतिमात्रं न उद्धृतस्नेहं चेति. The different etiquettes which give you the complete picture of the social condition and the type of the life at that period, and it's a very interesting, very elaborate, of course, because the time is up, we will be a bit faster. न भुञ्जीत उद्भुतस्नेहं नष्टं परिश्रं पयः न नक्तं दधिभुञ्जीत न चापि अघृतशर्करं न अमुद्गयुषं न क्षौद्रं नोष्णं नामलकीर्विना अन्यथा जनयेत् कुष्ठपि सर्पादीन् गदान् भून् नात्मानं मुदके पश्येत् न नग्नः प्रविशेत् जलम्. द्यूतमद्य अतिसेवा प्रतिभूत्व साक्षित्वं समाह्वानं गोष्ठी वादित्राणि न सेवेत स्रजं छत्रोपनहौ कनकमतीतं कनकम् अतीतवासांश्च अन्यैः धृतानि धारयेत् ब्राह्मणः मुद्लिङ्गाः नोच्छिष्टः स्पृशेत्. देन् भवति चेत् यस्मिन् यस्मिन् ऋतौ ये ये दोषाः कुप्यन्ति देहिनां तेषु तेषु प्रदातव्याः रसास्ते जानता. वर्षासु न पिबेत् तोयं पिबेत् शरदि मात्रया वर्षासु चतुर्मासान् मात्रावत् उदकं पिबेत्. उष्णं हैमे वसन्ते च कामं ग्रीष्मे च शीतलं हेमन्ते वसन्ते च शीतभरिष्ठो पिबेन्नरः. श्रुतशीतं पयो ग्रीष्मे प्रावट्काले रसं पिबेत्. यूषं वर्षति तस्य अन्ते प्रबिबेत् शीतलं जलं स्वस्थ एवं मतो अन्यस्तु दोषाहारगतानुगः स्नेहं सैन्धवचूर्णेन पिप्पदीपिश्च संयुतं पिबेत् अग्निविवृद्ध्यर्थं न च वेगान् धारयेत्. When you drink water, the water should be according to the season, and the source of water also is important. अग्निदीप्तकरं तॄणां रोगाणां शमनं प्रति प्रावट् शरद् वसन्तेषु सम्यक् स्नेहादिमाचरेत्. कफे प्रच्छर्दनं पित्ते विलोको बस्ति ईरणे शस्यते त्रिष्वपि सदा व्यायामो दोषनाशनः. भुक्तं विरुद्धमप्यन्नं व्यायामं न दुष्यति. In summary, you have to follow the Rutukarya, which is mentioned in the Sutrasthana, that the Snehadikrama have to be followed, and when Vamana Virechana has to be done according to season. Then उत्सर्ग मैथुन आहार शोधने स्यात् तन्मनः न इच्छेत् दोषचयात् प्राज्ञं पीडां च कायमानसीम्. अति स्त्री संप्रयोगाच्च रक्षेत् आत्मानम् आत्मबाधं. Then the sexual behavior, sexual activity is also a part of the life, and hence about details about that. शूलकाश ज्वरश्वास काश्य पाण्डु आमयक्षयाः अतिव्ययां जायन्ते रोगश्च आक्षेपकालयः. Excess of sexual activity can produce the harm as such. आयुष्मन्तो मन्दजराः वपु वर्णबलान्विताः स्थिरोपचितमांसाश्च भवन्ति स्त्रीषु संयताः. You have to maintain your physical health and then have to have a regulated sexual activity. त्रिभिस्त्रिभिः अहोभिर्वा समीयात् मदां नरं सर्वेषु धर्मेषु पक्षात् व्रजेत् बुधः. The time interval between the sexual activity. रजस्वलाम् अकामां च मदिनाम् अप्रियां तथा वर्णवृद्धां वयोवृद्धां ततो व्याधिप्रपीडितां हीनाङ्गीं गर्भिणीं द्वेष्यां योनिदोषसमन्वितां सगोत्रां गुरुपत्नीं च तथा प्रवर्जितामपि सन्ध्या अपर्वसु अगम्यां न उपेयात् प्रमदां नरः. गोसर्गे अर्धरात्रे च तथा मध्यदिनेषु च लज्जा समावहे देशे विवृते अशुद्धे च. The other discipline to be followed. क्षुधितो व्याधितश्चैव क्षुब्धचित्तश्च मानः वातमिन्मूत्रवेगी च पिपासु हरति दुर्बलः. तिर्यग्योनौ अयोनौ च प्राप्तशुक्रविधारणं दुष्टयोनौ विसर्गे च परवानपि वर्जयेत्. रेतसश्च अतिमात्रं तु मूर्ध अवर्णमेव च. स्थितौ उत्तानशयने विशेषेणैव दर्शितं क्रीडायां मेधावी हितार्थी परिवर्जयेत्. रजस्वलां प्राप्तवतः नरस्य अनियतात्मनः दृष्टि आयुर्तेजसां हानिः अधर्मश्च भवेत् ततो भवेत्. लिङ्गिनीं गुरुपत्नीं च सगोत्राम् अथ पर्वसु वृद्धां च सन्देहश्चापि गच्छतो जीवितक्षयः. गर्भिण्याः गर्भपीडा स्यात् व्याधितायां परक्षयः. हीनाङ्गीं मलिनां द्वेषां देशे अशुद्धे च शुक्रस्य मनसश्च क्षयो भवेत् क्षुदितः शुद्धचित्तश्च मध्याह्ने त्रिशितो अबलः स्थितश्च हानिं शुक्रस्य वायोः कोपं च विन्दति अतिप्रसङ्गात् भवति शोषः शुक्रक्षयावहः व्याधितस्य रुजा प्रीह्निं मृत्युः मूर्छा च जायते प्रत्युषति अर्धरात्रे च वातपित्तप्रकुप्यतः तिर्यग्योनौ वायोनौ च दुष्टयोनौ तथैव च उपदंशस्तथा वायोः कोपशुक्रस्य रक्षयः उच्चारिते मूर्तिते च रेतसश्च विधारणे उत्ताने च भवेत् शीघ्रं शुक्रास्मदीयास्तसम्भवः सर्वं परिहरेत् तस्मात् एतत् लोकद्वये अहितं शुक्रं च उपस्थितं मोहान् न सन्धार्यं कथञ्चन. All the disciplines which have been followed during the sexual activity, it's much in detail. Of course, we'll skip that because it's very obvious whatever you read it. Then vayorupa gunapetam tulishilam kulanidam abhikamam tu hrusto sistamalankratam सेवेत प्रमदां वित्या बाजीकरणबृंहितः भक्ष्याः सशर्करा क्षीरं ससितं रसेव च स्नानं सभ्यजनं स्वप्नो व्ययायान्ते एतानि तु मुखमात्रं समासेन सदृग्धस्य एतदीरितम् आरोग्यम् आयुरर्थोचनात् असद्भिः प्राप्यते नृभिः. All that which is mentioned here in this chapter is just a example. You have to follow healthy lifestyle. That's exactly the summary of that. With this we will conclude today. If there are any questions. Okay. Drinking water before Dantadhavana is not correct according to Ayurveda. We are not supposed to drink water before cleaning the mouth. It should be only after cleaning the mouth that you have to consume anything. This is exactly from Ayurvedic point of view. With this we will conclude today. Right.